Hey CSM, it's Justin here. I want to know how many for you guys does your Christmas have a level of chaos to it? I know for me, just like in that video, Christmas was a chaos season, right? I remember my mom dressing us up in these plaid polyester matching green suits with a white turtleneck. And I remember hating every moment of it and fighting her as she would drag us to church to look like a puppet show of ridiculousness. All of us in these matching outfits. They were horrible. I remember Sunday, my dad was a crazy workaholic when I was a young kid, and so we wouldn't see him at all. He'd be working ton, and then Christmas Day he would show up, right? And he would come down and he'd be wearing this robe, but he would be wearing nothing under this robe. And so like Christmas morning was like my dad falling out all over the place, and it was not something I wanted to see. It was like disgusting. I was like, Dad, take that robe off and put some clothes on. It was like this tradition every year of my dad falling out, this chaos thing that was happening, you know. And I for all of, you know, frankly, for high school, for me, I don't remember having a lot of peace. I remember it being just chaos, you know. I remember Dave Rambiza. I was on the swim team. I wanted to beat this guy. This guy had talent, and he loafed in practice. And I worked my butt off, and I was trying to go to state meet, and he would do it without even working hard. I would not have peace about that. I would be angry about that. I remember being at lunch, and I would like bring in this like brown paper bag, and I would sit by myself eating leftovers, just looking like that freak. Who I was. Like it was not peaceful for me. High school was not peaceful for me at all. I remember my mom and dad fighting all the time. And I know a lot of you guys have the same thing, but I remember one time specifically, it got so bad that my mom started throwing food at my dad out of anger, not out of play. And then my dad getting up, taking my mom's glasses off and just beating her across the face with my two brothers, and I were huddled in the corner with just crazy fear. That was not peaceful. And then not long after that, my dad was driving the car going, I think I want to leave your mom. What do you think about that? And that was terrible. That was not peaceful for me. That was chaos for me. I remember in high school not being happy with what I looked like. Even when I had hair, you know, I was like, man, my face. It's just not what I wanted to be. I wasn't getting the attention from the girls, you know. I wasn't tall enough. I was like this little scrawny kid, like 100 pounds. I was a weakling. Like, I didn't have peace about what I looked like, you know. And when I was in high school, my mom was racked with cancer over her entire body. And I remember watching her throw up, picking her up from chemo appointments and have her throw up on the car ride home, having her hair fall out all over the place, her body racked with pain. I wasn't peace at my house. That was chaos at my house. And I don't know about you guys, but I imagine in your lives, there's enough chaos to go around. And we hear this idea of peace, right? And then there's even crazy Bible verses in Ephesians that say, hey, Jesus is peace. And I look at that, I'm like, what? Like, you ever had those people come up to you like, I love Jesus and I have peace? I'm always like, what do you mean by that? I don't even understand that. You're just like a freak. I don't even get you. How do you have Jesus and peace in the same sentence, right? And I know for me, I'd be like, yeah, if you solved all these problems, right? If Jesus, you fix these things, yes, then I would have peace, right? You know, if you just got into college that you wanted, or, you know, mom and dad got back together, you got the boyfriend you wanted, if Justin Bieber pulled you up on stage and gave you those flowers, you know, like that would give you peace, right? And that's how I am. Like, if you give me that peace, if you fix these things, I will have peace, right? And so I never understood peace. Frankly, it's still hard to figure out what peace means. You know, I know I want it. I want peace. I don't want chaos. And then in John 16, he even goes farther. Right? Let's take a look at this in John 16. And we look at John 16 and it says, if you have peace and trouble are in the same sentence, right? Peace and trouble are in the same sentence, right? And so it's like, Jesus, what are you smoking? Right? He's saying you're going to have trouble and you're going to have peace. So Jesus either has a better reefer and smoking something better than I got, right? Or he is talking about a different kind of peace that doesn't make sense to me, right? Peace to me means no problems. Peace to me means things working out. Peace to me means like no fighting, no conflict, no pain, no dying, no suffering. Like that is what peace means to me. But he is saying, you will have peace and you will have trouble. Hello, Jesus. What are you thinking? Really? Like, what are you thinking, Jesus? Like, how can you possibly say that? You know, if you want to read a crazy chapter in the Bible that makes no sense at all, that's thought-provoking, read the whole chapter of John 16. It is crazy. And he basically sums something up. He goes, you will have peace if you change your viewpoint from peace if to peace regardless. From peace if things work out to peace no matter what. And you set your eyes and focus and hope, and you let Jesus be the boss, your authority, and you can have peace, right? But what is, like, again, like, how does that happen? What does that look like? How does that work itself out, right? Like, how can you have peace in the middle of a storm? And I'm not going to even be able to fully answer that for you guys today. But there are times when I can think about peace, right? I remember shortly after figuring out who Jesus was, I was invited to my best friend's bachelor party, right? And me and his brother were kind of like co-best menning this thing. It was in Las Vegas, right? Which is if you're thinking bachelor pad and you're thinking wild and you think crazy, Las Vegas is the place you want to go. And at that point in my life, I'd made a decision that I was not going to be doing strip clubs anymore. I was going to choose to honor women, right? And I remember, but I still loved these guys and I still wanted to be a part of them. I still wanted to make them happy. I remember his brother pulling me aside and saying, Justin, you got to do this for Brad. You've got to do this. You've got to come on. You've got to go to the strip club. It's his bachelor party, saying all these things. And I remember like, this is trouble for me. I don't like this. But I said, no, I just don't do it anymore. I'm sorry, man. You guys want to go, it's fine. But for me, I'm not going to go. And that was trouble, but that was peace. At the same time, I had peace when I went home. Something felt right inside of me, but it was trouble. I remember when I finally gave up getting drunk and wasted all the time. I had this sense of boredom in my life, and frankly, I was a little bit more lonely. I didn't have all the same friends that I had before, but there was something inside of me that felt peaceful, even though there's things on the outside that felt like trouble. And so the question is, can you have peace when there is chaos all around you, and how do you do that? And I know now my family is a lot different than a lot of families, and we have chosen to go straight into chaos, right? We have chosen to adopt all over the place from all different ways, right? And we have gotten ourselves into some crazy chaos, right? So we have my wife and I, we have our oldest son, Henry, who is our biological kid. We have Layla, who we adopted from China, and that was chaos in and of itself. And we have Anaya, who we are adopting out of the foster care system. And then we have our most recent addition, Adria. And this was chaos. A young couple, 7 months old, that I actually met in CSM years ago, decided that they were not able to parent their kid. And they came over to our family and we talked about our family and our vision and what we were doing. And they said, would you be willing to adopt our daughter? And we said, yeah, we can do that. And then the chaos began. This was no simple situation. The baby came months, a month and a half early. We were in the hospital room and delivery room. My wife got to be there and be in this crazy chaos. And then the baby was born addicted to drugs, born 5.5 pounds, this little Peanut. We still call her Peanut, right? There was chaos. There was social workers involved. There was charges being pressed. There was nurses whispering in corners. It was one of the most chaotic scenes I've ever been a part of. But I was sitting there going, man, I have peace, even though there's chaos all around me. And I think peace for me, I have found, when I am in the heart of God's will, I have peace. When I am lockstep, obedient to God, I have peace. There may be chaos, there may be pain, there may be sadness, but I have peace when I am at the heart of the Father, when my heart is beating with the Father's heart. right in step. And that doesn't happen all the time, but when I am lockstep with that, there is peace around that. And Adria today is 1 year old, a beautiful little kid, unbelievable, you know, and there is peace in that. And so my question, or the challenge I have for this for you guys, and I know this, that there's not a lot of peace in your life right now. So the question is, what would it take? Is there something you need to stop doing to get into the heartbeat of God right now to experience his peace? Maybe there's something you need your pod to pray for. That you need to let go of control. The situation is out of your control. And you want to trust regardless. Maybe you just need to ask God for more trust in him and let him be your authority. Maybe as a pod, you guys just need to talk about, like, how can this happen in your life right now? Can you do that? What's not giving you peace? And what would it take to get in the lockstep heartbeat of God?